Hey operator, how's the weather looking out there?
Oh, I set my radio down for a moment and slide my window guard to the side, taking a look at the unending blizzard outside. You know, sunny, not a cloud in the sky, just like home, I joked. 8 giggled through the comms, her sweet voice mixed with light bouts of static. She's all the sun that I need.
I got a beautiful sunset right in front of me.
Her light stayed unlit on my switchboard as she spoke. Oh yeah? Wish I could see it, I sniffled.
Should we make it a date? We can have a picnic.
You absolutely don't want to try my cooking.
So bad?
Terrible.
That why you're single?
Hey now. Station 4 lights on my board as a message from them comes in, cutting me off. Oh, hold on, 8. I switched over. Hello, here's dispatch.
Oh hey man, working a lot of overtime lately? Here's Station 4. We're docking back in early. Driller hit a snag. No injuries. Reports will be filed, etc.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I peer out my window and into the darkness beyond my glass. Lighting up brightly in the distant Arctic hailstorm were red beacons. 4 to my left, only 3 to my right. All right, thanks for letting me know. I'll log you guys in.
Roger, Station 4, out.
Station 4 clicks on their radio one more time, then their light on my board goes off, and I switch back over to Station 8. Hey 8, I'm gonna take a quick walk before the other stations get back.
Roger that, see you in a bit.
I take one more look out the window before I slide the guard shut. 4 beacons to my left, 3 beacons to my right. You guys still trying to get everything back up?
Yeah, our crew's split between the driller and the beacon.
If you want, I can see if I can send someone over and...
No, don't worry, we've got it covered. I'm sure everyone's as busy as it is, trying to meet quota and all.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about a single thing, I'm not going anywhere.
At my station, there are 8 rooms, 8 hallways, 4 flights of stairs, and 2 stairwells. There are 32 windows. Each window has 24 metal rivets holding it in place, a total of 768. I count them twice every day, once in my morning walk and once in my evening walk. It takes me exactly 45 minutes to walk around my entire station. Each day, I spend about 4 hours in my dispatch room, 1 hour reading in my sunroom, 3 hours in my kitchen, 2 hours in the community room, and the rest either performing maintenance on the base or asleep in my room. I guess it's not really a community room if I'm the only community member. For the last 3 years, I have been the only dispatcher working on the Arctic mining base B-667. Once every 6 months, my supervisor comes to check up on me, taking report records, refilling my supplies, and making sure I haven't gone insane. It used to be every 3 months, but we decided that for someone who is socially isolated almost 24/7 for months at a time, I'm actually doing pretty good. Corporate also doesn't want to spend so much time and money flying out here anyway. I don't think anyone wants to be out here. Raging outside of my window for 23 hours a day is a hailstorm going sideways at over 100 miles per hour. Not leaving the base in an armored vehicle would result in me being shredded into bits within seconds. I imagine driving out there would be hell. 0 visibility, only being able to rely on a small digital map laid out on the HUD screen of the vehicle. Frozen hail is slamming into the side of the protective glass, constantly pounding and trying to tear its way into the vehicle. Stations 1 and 5 were the nearest to me, both being 10 miles away on my left and my right. If I had an emergency, I'd drive to 5. 1 is a miserable asshole. Any small talk I would try to initiate would be ignored or answered with, "Radio lines should be left clear, not used for casual conversation." 5, on the other hand, was a jolly older man who'd greet me with a morning riddle every few days. I even started marking the days on my calendar. In 2 days, he should be radioing in with a new riddle for me to mull over. Checking the calendar has become a point of excitement for me. Tomorrow is very exciting. It's laundry day. 2 months ago, I was left with a new detergent that I now finally get to use since my other one has run out. I wonder what it smells like. The box doesn't say. I hope it's something like lavender or whatever ocean breeze is. Maybe I have gone insane. I finish up my walk and slide back into my chair in the dispatch room, rolling from the door all the way to my desk, perfectly as practiced. I slid the headphones over my ears and waited for the lights on my switchboard. I was early. I wondered if 8 was there. She was always there. I wanted to ask her how many she had at her station, what she did for fun, and what she liked to eat. I wondered if it was the powdered prime rib or the powdered spaghetti and meatballs. Mine was the powdered orange chicken. 8, you read?
Back from your walk?
She answered instantly. Sorry, I just wanted to stop and feed the ducks. The park they installed in my station is absolutely beautiful. I bet yours is. Oh wait, do you guys have that?
If only we were so lucky we don't even have fake painted trees in our sunroom. Guess corporate really loves their dispatcher, huh?
Oh, I'm sure they gave me the top quality fluorescent light bulbs. She laughed again.
How you doing, Op?
Not bad, you? I bet it's more fun having a whole team over there.
Oh yeah, we're having the time of our lives. Currently deciding which one of us is gonna get cannibalized first.
Only active for 1 month and you're already resorting to cannibalism. The other stations made it a year.
We're just tired of the powdered stuff. How haven't you gone crazy yet being in that entire station alone?
Oh, I was meaning to fill it up with sock puppets, but I still can't get the eyes right. Station 1 lit up. Hey, 8.
Right on time. Talk to you tomorrow, Op.
See you tomorrow. I ended, smiling to myself.
Don't worry, Op. I'm not going anywhere.
I switched over, checking in each station one by one. Vehicles were docking, comms were checked, and reports were being faxed over. 3 reported 2 miners with a cold. 5 made a joke about how bad the lunch was. 6 said something in his native language after I asked if they were doing anything fun that night, then switched off. 7 was the last to radio in. One of their treads misaligned, but the team managed to tow it back with a second vehicle and get it fixed within the hour. Hey, while I have you guys on the line, how many repairmen do you have? 7 sounded like he was leaning away from his mic.
Enough. Why? What's up?
It's a bit of a trek, but could one of you guys rover out to Station 8 and give them a hand? They keep telling me not to send anyone, but their driller's been out for a month.
Station where?
8. Corp assigned them last month, but they've been out of commission since day 1. Even their beacon isn't lighting up.
Hold on.
I waited for a couple of minutes.
You said 8?
Yeah, you're closest.
I don't see 8 on my map.
She's not on mine either. They're too new. But if you...
She?
I mean the radio person there is a she.
Hold on.
Another minute.
I'm not sending anyone out blind. Don't they have repairmen?
They do, but like I said, it's been a month. 7 clicked on his radio, but stayed silent for a long moment. I could imagine a stupid grin stretching across his face.
Oh, I get it.
I could hear him start to laugh.
Someone worried about his lady friend?
Dude.
So that's how you fight off loneliness. Good for you, Pete. That's why you've been off our channel for the last few weeks. What's her name?
Mark, just do me a favor and send a guy out. He can map it like it's driving to 6, but in the other direction.
You don't even know her name?
I haven't asked. We've only been talking for the month.
So you admit you've been chatting every day since she got assigned? Dude.
Okay. I'm switching off.
I'll send someone out. Don't get all hurt. We've got a couple of guys doing night maintenance. I'll have one drive out right now. Should be there in a few hours.
Thanks, I'll let them know.
You mean her know?
I switched Station 7 off before he could make any more jokes, then switched over to 8. She answered immediately, like always.
What's up?
Hey, just wanted to give you a heads up. In a couple of hours, you've got someone coming out to assist you guys with the repairs.
What?
I asked someone over from Station 7 if they could...
I told you not to do that.
What?
I told you not to send anyone out to us. Why would you do that?
I thought you needed the help.
I told you not to do that. Why would you...
Her voice started to mix with the static, getting louder and louder until I had to tear the headphones off my head. I couldn't tell what she was saying, her words just becoming faint shouts between the growl and thunder of the system overloading until it shut off. The hailstorm outside must have increased in intensity, going from barely over 100 miles per hour to reaching 300, ice, thunder, and rage on the other side of the glass. Knowing I wouldn't be able to reach anyone for the rest of the night, I switched off. I don't have to worry, she's not going anywhere. At my station, there are 9 rooms, 8 hallways, 4 flights of stairs, and 2 stairwells. There are 32 windows. Each window has 24 metal rivets holding it in place, a total of 768. I count them twice every day, once in my morning walk and once in my evening walk. It takes me exactly 60 minutes to walk around my entire station. Each day, I spend about 4 hours in my dispatch room, 1 hour reading in my sunroom, 3 hours in my kitchen, 2 hours in the community room, and the rest either performing maintenance on the base or asleep in my room. Today is laundry day. I only have dark red shirts. I guess black shirts are too depressing, and wearing white would be like wearing camouflage. I watch as they swirl around, the machine oddly silent, only letting off a light hum. I could barely hear the water, not like the ones they had at home. A year ago, I really started to miss the loud whirl and sloshing of my old washing machine back at home. I didn't used to sit in front of it and stare at it for an hour, but now I wish I did. There's a door down the hallway I've never seen before. I watch it from the corner of my eye. I think I saw it move. I used to play music around the station to keep myself company, but when I realized I could accurately predict which song would come next on the shuffle, I stopped. I learned each song and each lyric anyway. My options were limited, with no internet connection and no radio. I only had whatever records and tapes the station had ready for me. I asked corporate to get me some new CDs or maybe an MP3 player, but they just laughed it off. Now I just work with the hum of the storm outside. The storm hasn't let up. I didn't even have to check. None of the stations were able to radio in for more than seconds at a time. Everyone was bunkering down, waiting it out. I haven't checked in with 8 yet. I'm not sure if she was mad at me or if I did anything wrong. I just wanted to help. I held the radio in my hand and tapped on the switch to her station. She was furthest away. I probably couldn't hear her anyway. I wish I knew her name. Not using names seemed to be an unspoken rule on the radio channels. Only Seven and I were on a first-name basis. Up until someone ratted us out for being idiots on the radio waves, we used to chat around the clock. No fun thing ever lasted too long out here in the cold, I guess. I wonder if I should tell her my name first, clear the air. Maybe she'll tell me hers. Hello? Testing. 8. Are you there? Silence. Strange. Hey, could you... 7 lit up on the board. I switched over.
Jesus Christ, are you there? You okay? Did he get there? Where the fuck is Rodney?
What? I was still shocked I could hear him so clearly.
Rodney, the repairman, I've been trying to talk to you for days. All you do is tap your mic on and off. What the fuck, Pete? Where did you send my repairman?
What do you mean? The storm's been blocking signals.
What storm? What the fuck are you talking about? It's clearing out. It hasn't stormed for months.
I pushed open the window guard. There was a storm, the usual storm. Hail flying sideways at 100, no rage, no thunder. No different than a regular cloudy day for us. A static began to fill my ears, eating away at the sides of my vision until Mark's shouting brought me back to my senses. Lights on the switchboard were going off, several pings lighting up on the screen before me. I began to switch through them rapidly, not understanding what was happening.
Up, you okay? What's going on? Hey, where is everyone? Everything okay? Here's 5, are you guys okay?
I took quick scribbled notes, trying to fill in as much as I could before jumping to the next channel. They gave me information. Too much information. I wanted to tell them to quit with the crap, but I didn't have a chance. I just wrote down the days and times they read out to me. I switched back over to 7, my heart breaking against my chest.
God, Pete, I was about to drive over and check on you. Are you okay?
Yeah, fuck, I have to. I panicked, trying to mentally sort the mess on my desk. What happened? It's only been a day.
Pete, it's been almost a week.
What? At my station, there are 9 rooms, 8 hallways, 4 flights of stairs, and 2 stairwells. There are 31 windows. Each window has 24 metal rivets holding it in place. A total of 744. I count them twice every day, once in my morning walk and once in my evening walk. It takes me exactly 45 minutes to walk around my entire station. Each day, I spend about 4 hours in my dispatch room, 1 hour reading in my sunroom, 3 hours in my kitchen, 2 hours in the community room, and the rest either performing maintenance on the base or asleep in my room. I didn't sleep in my room last night. I also haven't performed any maintenance in a week. My system showed that the air filters started to clog up in one of the spare bedrooms. Weird. They don't turn on when the room is inactive. I debated if I really needed to change them, if I never have, and don't plan on entering. Empty spare bedrooms were for other dispatchers who were never brought on. They were probably only filled with spare bedding and supplies anyway. Plastic bowls, glasses, and utensils lay across the kitchen and community room. I washed off the half-eaten bowls of rehydrated powder and dust-coated water glasses, wanting to cram as much as I could into the dishwasher, only to find it was also full. I overfilled it anyway, slamming it closed 2 or 3 times before everything fit inside. I screamed, but nothing came out. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see. My eyes filled with bursts of black and white, my ears flooding with the hum coming from the storm outside. My fingers began to curl up and stiffen, my arms shaking. The storm, the thunder. I cleaned myself off in the shower, shaving off an uneven layer of stubble. Eye drops to help soothe the red burning dryness that stared back at me in the mirrors. My room was empty. Someone had cleaned out my shelves, made my bed. It was like I was never there. I needed sleep. The air felt tight and thin as I lay down in my bed. Musty, metallic, and gross. Something was wrong. Maybe I was sick, not realizing I was coming down with a fever and going through the last week in a zombie-like daze. I closed my eyes. There was something wet under the covers, something cold. I reached my hand over my head and switched my overhead light back on. Red. My arm was red. I lifted the covers off of me and screamed, scrambling out of the blood-dyed bed and onto the ground, drawing lines along my way to the door. I pulled my shirt up, my pants down, checking for cuts or gashes. Nothing. No blood. There was no red. Just the bed. Just me. Just the static. I wonder if she would answer if I called her right now. It was a bit past 2200, and everyone should be asleep. Station radio workers would have switched over to the night responder. I didn't have a night responder. I was the night responder. If there was any sort of emergency, I'd have to sprint to the console and immediately get to work. Hello, Station 8?
Oh, Station 8. So formal.
She responded, her voice coming through clearly like always. Oh, thank God it's you. What are you doing up so late?
Just keeping an eye out. I couldn't sleep anyway. You?
Same. How's the maintenance going? Did the guy from 7 arrive?
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm sorry about that. Freaking out on you like that yesterday.
No, it's okay. I shouldn't have sent him if you didn't want me to. I just wanted to know if he's already... I stopped, my finger still pressed on the board. What did you say?
I'm sorry, Pete, for freaking out on you yesterday. You were only trying to help. I know you...
Her voice began to grow faint and muffled. I clicked off the channel and slid my headphones off, setting them to the side. I know you meant it well. I know you were just trying to help. Yeah, but I shouldn't have... I spoke to dead air. No, you shouldn't have done that, but it's not your fault. I stood up from my chair, following the sound of her voice down the hallway. It's not your fault. You shouldn't have, but it's not your fault. The cracked status displayed to my room flashed red. To her room. Her room. The air filter's clogged. I gotta replace it. I sleep here. I pulled the door open. She was on her bed, body twisted into an impossible shape. Her arm twisted and wrapped around her body, bones splintering out of her shoulders, arms, and chest. Her legs were hugged tight to her body, her head rolled backwards, looking at me. She opened her mouth, her head twisted back in on itself, spiraling backwards into an endless spiraling echo of her eyes. Her sweet voice rolled out in bursts of black and white. You shouldn't have done that.
Hey Pete, how's the weather looking?
I set my radio down for a moment and tried to pull on my window guard. It didn't budge. Someone had nailed the latch close to the wall. Oh, you know, the usual. Sunny.
Not a cloud in the sky?
Not a cloud in the sky.
You okay? Not sounding like yourself. You're not coming down with a cold, are you?
The lights on my switchboard flashed on and off. Only Station 8 stayed unlit. Scrawled across my desk were sporadic notes. Who was checking in? Who was checking out? My tablet flashed red constantly with system errors. Hey 8, did you guys manage to get your beacon fixed up?
Yeah, can't you see it like a star in the sky?
I tugged at the window guard again but couldn't get it open. Yeah, is he on his way back?
Who?
The repairman from Station 3.
You mean 7?
Yeah, I mean 7.
He's staying to help out with the driller.
What was his name again?
What?
His name, what's his name?
Was I supposed to interview him or something?
How long has he been there, 8?
Come on, Pete, you gotta relax. You're all worked up because...
I never told you my name, 8.
Peter.
Who are you, 8?
You know who I am, Pete.
I tried to press down on the switch to change over to 7, my fingers shaking as I failed to apply enough pressure.
You're losing yourself, Peter.
With a loud click, the station finally changed over. I could hear him. Mark! His voice coming through in a furious shout.
Pete, what the hell? We're sending guys from 1 and 5 over.
Did Rodney come back yet? I cut him off.
Days ago, what the hell did you do? You sent him on a day-long loop all the way over to Station 4. Pete, are you okay?
My hand shook. I didn't realize how cold and hungry I was. Only her voice brought me warmth. I can hear Mark on the other side. I just have to stay awake a little longer. People are coming to help me. I mumbled something into the microphone and began to feel my body slump over, my head hitting the desk with a wet thud.
Pete, stay awake, hey.
His voice began to break, changing.
You shouldn't.
Mark, I croaked from the ground, my hand trying to grip hold of my desk and pull myself back up.
You shouldn't have done that.
At my station, there are 7 rooms, 6 hallways, 4 flights of stairs, and 2 stairwells. There are 28 windows. Each window has 24 metal rivets holding it in place, a total of 672. I count them twice every day, once in my morning walk and once in my evening walk. It takes me exactly 3 hours to walk around my entire station. Each day, I spend about 4 hours in my dispatch room, 1 hour reading in my sunroom, 3 hours in my kitchen, 2 hours in the community room, and the rest either performing maintenance on the base or asleep in my room. Today is a special day. Today I get to cook. Aside from the flavored nutritional powder we had to live off of, every few months we would also get fresh food delivered. Fresh is, of course, relative, since they're technically all frozen or vacuum-packed, but they're still fresher than the powder. During the last visit, I was left a rather big cut of beef with some potatoes and carrots. The only real fresh ingredient was a small herb garden that I've been tending to off and on for a while. I'm gonna make myself a stew. I don't go into the freezer room very often. Part of me is paranoid that, since I'm here alone, there could be a chance that I accidentally lock myself in there. Sure, there's a release handle on the inside of the freezer, but what if, by some luck, that also decides to stop working? I unlatched the door and pushed on it with my body, something heavy and frozen falling out as I got the door halfway open. I pushed it with my foot against the door and kept it open as I went inside, making sure there was a smaller chance that it would slam shut. I was right. The inside latch was broken, torn off its hinges, and tossed aside, probably the result of a shelf accidentally slamming into it, or something I did the last time I was in here. When was I last here? I grabbed the single frozen vacuum-sealed bag and hopped back outside, kicking the door prop back in, the door slamming shut behind me. I'd have to report all of that damage the next time corporate comes to check on me. I only have one knife. It's for safety reasons. I don't cook that often, so I guess that the company decided I only needed a handful of butter knives and one single kitchen knife, of which was missing. My maintenance knife was nothing but a tiny bladed box cutter, and I lost that one too. A puddle of brown and red murky pooled at my bare feet as I stared at the utensil rack, eyes locked on the empty spot where the kitchen knife was supposed to be. I set the bag of meat on the counter with a wet slush. There's been a heavy grinding and pounding on the main doors for a couple of days now. It sounds like someone is trying to break in, but it's nothing more than ice. The storm's been picking up really bad, heavy chunks of snow and hail, slamming against every surface of the station. I closed every window and window guard to avoid any chance of damage or exposure. If somehow the windows break, the guards will hold until I can perform maintenance. The stations haven't been reporting in either, only loud bursts of static. In these situations, I'm sure they've been able to backlog all their vehicle dispatches and arrivals without me. I just have to wait out the storm. I should check if she's okay. Sunlight doesn't reach us this far out into the Arctic. At least not anymore. To be able to grow small things like my herb garden, I use a drop of chemically enhanced liquid fertilizer and mix it evenly through the soil. Just one tiny drop from a pipette is more than enough to stimulate months of growth. I'm not at all sure about the science behind it. All I know is that I'm definitely going to ask for some tomato seeds next time. I wonder what it does to people. Probably nothing. I have to do so much laundry. I don't remember having so many shirts, but apparently I do. 4 stacks of 8, another load in the machine. After this, I have to get started on the pants. They were stacked waist-high in the corner. They're the same color as my shirt, a dark maroon red. I took in a long breath and realized I haven't washed mine in a while either. The musty metal smell attacking my nose, making me gag. Even the clean ones had the same smell. I walked to the storage room in my underwear, tearing into a cardboard box of spare uniforms on one of the shelves. I slid one on. The box was labeled a size M, but it fit me a bit too loosely. Loose was better than naked. Plus, now I smell like a new car. The newer spare uniforms were a nice gray-white. They must have changed it some time ago. Aside from the color, they were pretty much the same as the old ones. Safety reflective strips and all. Fresh, I settled myself back into the chair in my radio room, rolling across the floor perfectly to reach the table. The window guard was nailed to the wall, and the window outside was broken. My station tablet lay cracked on the table next to my radio and switchboard, flashing red with a list of maintenance issues. I was so tired for some reason. I thought I had gotten enough sleep, and I even had breakfast. My head rang a bit as I placed the headset over my ears.
Hey Pete, how's the weather?
8's voice came through instantly. Oh yeah, Sonny, not a cloud in the sky. My voice came out strained, and my throat hurt as I tried to talk.
I got a pretty nice sunset here by myself. Remember when we watched it together?
What?
We watched the sunset together, just that one time, Peter. I was crying. You thought I was crying because I was so happy. I'm happy now. I get to talk to you every day. I'm happy because you're making me happy, Peter. You never even asked for my name. You tore the tag from my chest, didn't you, Peter? I saw yours, though. I kept looking at yours. I had to. Storm is raging, Peter. How long until someone comes and gets you? Until someone comes looking for us?
The other buttons won't work. I switched back and forth, but the lines wouldn't come in. I pulled on the radio box. It slid easily out of the wall. The cord cut so long ago, and mold started to build over the copper-wired ends.
Peter, you gotta open the door. You're hungry, aren't you? You gotta open the door. Delivery is here. Hear them knocking?
I used all of my strength to slide the desk out, but it only moved a small crack. I climbed over and looked inside. There it was. My kitchen knife, broken into 2, was covered in dust, mold, and rust.
What are we mining for, Peter? How long have we been out here?
I screamed, pulling on the window guard. The nail started to wiggle and budge.
You shouldn't have done that, Peter. Why did you do that?
I bit down on the nail with my teeth and pulled it from the wall, pulling the window guard open, covering my eyes from the...
Just like home.
At my station, there are 5 rooms, 4 hallways, 2 flights of stairs, and 1 stairwell. There are 5 windows. Each window has 24 metal rivets holding it in place, a total of 120. I count them twice every day, once in my morning walk and once in my evening walk. It takes me exactly 5 hours to walk around my entire station. Each day, I spend about 8 hours in my dispatch room, 1 hour reading in my sunroom, 3 hours in my kitchen, 2 hours in the community room, and the rest either performing maintenance on the base or asleep. I had to lock off the eastern wing of the station. Something came through the main loading bay and started to grow along the walls. What I assume was a fungal growth somehow got into the growth fertilizer, the entire supply. It started as a small mound in the hangar bay, slowly turning into flesh-like tendrils, overtaking almost half of the base. It leaves me alone, so I just leave it alone. Corporate will clear it out for me on their next visit. I can't get into the radio room anymore either. Before the growth sealed the door closed, I managed to move my entire setup into the community room in the center of the base. The storm is much too heavy for any signals to come through. The stations, however, have started to send their arrivals and departures in Morse code, their station lights blinking on and off. I've been sleeping in the community room next to the radio for a few days. I can't get the door to my room open. It keeps rejecting my keycard. I had trouble with it before, but somehow I was still able to pry it open and get in. Now it won't even budge. Tonight, though, in response to my stiff back, I'm going to open one of the spare bedrooms on the west side of the station and sleep there. At some point in time, I must have moved all of my stuff into the spare bedroom already. They were caked in dust, but my books, pictures, and other stuff were already set up around the room. I wanted to clean them off, but my exhaustion pulled me directly to the bed. Sleep didn't come easily. The mass growing in the east wing kept making noise. It sounded like crying, but I knew it shouldn't be. I pulled myself out of bed and paced exhaustingly down to the eastern hallway. The tendrils moved like fingers, already gripping the sides of the community room, trying to pull themselves inside. I stayed silent and listened to the fungal growth wheeze. It took a struggling breath, and then exhaled for much longer than it should have. The escaping gas from the pores began to sound like words, small whispers, please. My eyes stayed locked on the east hallway as I sat down and picked up my radio.
Hey, how's the weather?
Oh, you know, we spoke in unison, her voice cheerful and bright, mine coming through in croaked bursts.
Sunny, not a cloud in the sky.
God, Pete, when was the last time you showered? I can't. Something clogged the pipes and the water won't run. I need to fix it. Well, you stink. Smells like a raccoon died in here. Hey, come on, it's not that bad. Maybe corporate will fix the pipes once they come check up on me. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Could at least shave. When was the last time you saw yourself, Pete? I can't. There are no mirrors in the station. You know that's not true, Pete. Why'd you get rid of all the mirrors? There's still a mirror in my bedroom, isn't there? It's in the east hallway. I can't. I can see myself every single day. Why don't you go take a look at yourself, Pete? Look at yourself, Pete. Look at yourself, Pete. Look at yours. It reached out to grab me as I tried to scan my keycard. Gaunt, skeletal fingers, naked muscle, and tendon wrapped around my wrist. It still had a surprising amount of strength, squeezing me until my wrist popped. I didn't try to pull away. It let go a moment later, another hiss escaping from the fungal growth. It blinked at me, tears rolling from 2 pairs of eyes. Fear, hunger, exhaustion. I pulled the door open and let a wave of disgusting, musty air escape into the hallway. The growth beside me vomited out its remaining organs and bones. Sitting center of the bed with its legs crossed was a sculpture. In flashes of red from outside, I can see its outstretched bone fingers, mummified skin pulled tight over its gray and black skin. The blanket was cut up and wrapped tightly around its face, the imprint of an open jaw trying to tear through the stained fabric. Exploding from its back, long finger-like wings stretched to the ceiling like an open ribcage. It held out its hands, begging, beckoning. Its name tag read, Sharon. I turned to the mirror. Thick layers of dust clung to sticky, unknown liquids in patches across its surface. The flashes from the hallway lit up the room in small bursts, but it was enough for me to see myself. Drooped eyes, dislocated jaw, fractures of skull bone grafted together with other bones, growing out of a hole in my head like antlers. My work uniform, a mix of grays, browns, and yellows, is too big for my body, sagging off of me, except for my stomach. It bulged outwards under the clothes, looking like I had stuffed pillows underneath my uniform. I can see my splintered collarbone poke through my skin, the blade of a knife stuck above my shoulder. The pain of my current state started to burn through me, my cry coming out in a low, exhausted weep. I was hungry again, tired again, alone again. I let the growth grab my hand again. This time, I grabbed it back, biting into it and tearing away chunks of meat. The pain was excruciating, but the muscles in my jaw forced themselves to chew and then swallow. We only had one kitchen knife in the station, for safety reasons, and I had no idea what it was. I'll ask corporate to replace it the next time they come to get me. The growth cried and screamed, trying to pull themselves off the wall, but I screamed back, this time loud and guttural, my roar echoing through the entire station, shaking snow from the roof. Tomorrow is laundry day. I ran out of detergent a while ago. I have no idea how I ran out so fast. I'm only doing laundry for one. It might be barbaric to some, but I started using dish soap in its place. It doesn't get the stains out as good, but at least it smells nice. I tried to look for the spare outfits in the storage room, but it looks like I wasn't left any. Soon I'll be all out of dish soap too. Then I guess I'll be wearing dirty clothes until corporate comes. I slid across the room in my chair, ending up perfectly at my desk. Her channel was already switched on. I put the headphones over my ears and leaned back in my chair.
Hey Pete, how's the weather looking out there?
I set my radio down for a moment and slid my window guard to the side. A blinding light shot through into my dispatch room and I slammed it shut again, my skin smoking from the intense burn. You know, sunny, not a cloud in the sky, just like home. Sharon giggled through the comms, her sweet voice mixed with light bouts of static. I kept the window guard shut tight. I kept all of them shut tight. The storm outside is too intense to leave them open. She's all the sun that I need.